Hi, everybody. Welcome. I am Michelle Solis from Thismustbeink. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Seekonk, Massachusetts. Welcome to my Stamp and Sip live, where the weekend starts early. It's Friday, so I'm excited. I have so much to do this weekend, but I'm excited to be able to get some of my errands and stuff done. I've got to wrap presents and get them in the mail tomorrow. Someone said, if you want things delivered by Christmas, you need them in the mail by the 9th. So this is the weekend. Get your stuff in the mail if you need it to get there by Christmas. Okay, so hopefully everybody is having a good night. Let's take a sip of whatever we brought. I brought some white wine. It's called Flip It Out from one of my favorite wineries in Florida called Cop Winery. This is a very good little white wine. Okay, so we are going to turn the camera down and look at our project that we're going to do tonight. Oh my gosh, I got my camera stuck. All right, let's see here. No, yes, no. There we go. There we go. Okay, let's bring this down a bit. Straighten it up a little. All right, I think we're straight. Okay, so these are the cards that I showed as the sample. And these are 3 cards that I did with a stack and shuffle technique, but I also wanted to show you that I've been playing with my my blending brushes. So Stampin' Up! Has these wonderful blending brushes that you can use to blend backgrounds, and in this case I was blending on DSP. So these were made with the Modern Christmas paper. I used 3 pieces from that pack. I used this gold. It's actually gold, black, and white is the colors that it originally comes in. And then I used this piece with the black and white trees. And then I used this one with the black and white fa la 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 la. So those were the original pieces that I started out with. And then I blended them with Pretty in Pink, which is my favorite pink color. And I made some pink and black and gold cards. So that's what you see here. So tonight we're going to work with the same paper, but I'm actually going to blend it with shaded spruce instead of pink. So we're going to do black and gold and green cards tonight. And then I have a couple other papers that I played with, and I will show you those as well. All right, so I am using the same black card bases, and these are just a regular card base that's 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. So just a regular card base. And I have 3 of those because this stack and shuffle is going to use 3 pieces of paper, and so you'll make 3 cards. So we're going to use that same stripe. We're going to use the trees and the fa la 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 la. And then I've already done the blending on these 2 because it takes a while. So I didn't want you guys to have to sit through all of that. I'm just going to blend this one piece tonight, and then we'll cut them up. And then I'm using 3 mats. The mats are going to be 5 1/4 by 4. These are actually Lost Lagoon, because by the time I got finished blending, the shaded spruce doesn't show up as dark as it looks on the stamp pad here. So I decided it really looked more like Lost Lagoon when I blended it. So that's the mat that I'm going to use for this tonight. Okay, so we'll just set those 2 pieces aside. Oh, and your designer series paper is going to measure 5 by 3 3/4. Okay, so we'll just do this piece with the blending. Now, when I go to blend, you can take your blending brush and go right into your ink pad, but I find that I waste a lot of ink that way. So what I tend to do is take a block and put it into my ink pad and pick up some ink this way. Oh, it's not picking it up very well, is it? So I'm picking up some color here. And then I'm just going to take that color off the block with my brush and then go to my blending. So I'm going to start off the page so I don't get a real dark blotch where I start, and come onto the page. And then, oh, I got a blotch anyway. And then blend through that whole piece of designer series paper. Okay, so I'm just going to pick up some more color. And so this is going to pick up the green on all the white areas. Oh, pushing too hard. I'm going to wreck my paper here. And just totally change this into green and black and gold. Okay, you just keep blending until you get the color in all the areas the way that you want it. And as I said, it takes some time. So if you're doing 3 pieces, oops, give yourself some time. And then it can get a little blotchy. You want to, I just do the whole thing and then I go back and look at areas that might need to be done a little bit more. Everything's rattling here. I have some stands on my desk that have tools and stuff in them, and they're all shaking and rattling while I'm blending. Okay, so then what I do is just kind of sit back and look at it and see, is there an area that needs a little bit more green? And we can get some more green into that particular area. But you also want to remember that this is going to be cut, so it's not, and you kind of just need it to be even in stripes from top to bottom. Okay, that's pretty good. Let's just use up this last ink here. Right in the middle. And you're going to notice too, when you're, especially when you're using a paper that's got metallics in it, you're going to get ink on your fingers because there's ink on the metallic. Oh my gosh, I just almost ruined that whole piece of paper. So there's ink on the metallic area. I did crinkle the paper. All right, it's savable. So what I'm going to do there, let me close this before I get another disaster going. What I'm going to do there is take a paper towel, or in my case, I have a chamois, and I'm just going to rub that metallic stripe and get the ink off of there. So you'll see that when it has ink on it, it's a little more dull too. And then it also transfers to your fingers. So you want to make sure that you get that off. before you go and try to work on it and get it on a card so that it's not getting green on everything else. Okay. All right, so then for the stack and shuffle, we're going to put the 3 pieces together and we're going to cut them all at the same time. So your designer series paper, as I said, is 3 3/4 wide by 5 inches long. We're going to cut these at 1 1/4. So I'm going to put that into my trimmer at 1 1/4 inches. All 3 pieces at the same time. And then I'm going to keep them in that order and set them aside. Then I'll just do the same thing again, 1 1/4. Which will leave me with another 1 1/4 inch strip there. Okay, and then to shuffle them, we've stacked them up. Now we're going to shuffle them. Your first pile is going to stay exactly like it is. Your second pile, you're going to take the top paper and put it on the bottom. And then the third pile, you're going to take the top 2 papers and put them on the bottom. So each card should get one of each pattern. Okay, so we're going to just sit those over there a bit. So I'm going to bring my mat that I'm attaching these to. I'm going to bring that in. And so here's my first layer. I get a fa la 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 la, and I get a tree, and I get the stripe. And so I want to position these onto my card mat. They're going to stay together. And I just want to look at where they're going to be. And then I'm going to turn it and I'm going to remove the first one and then glue it down. So I'm going to use liquid glue so I have a minute that I can kind of move them around if I want to. So I'm going to get this one on. I want to leave a little border. No, don't want to overlap that one. And this one needs to slide this way a little bit. And then I'll get the second one on. Okay. And then the last piece. Okay, there you go. So that's your first card front. And then you'll do the same with the other 2. You're going to take your top strip. This time the stripe will be in the middle. And again, just kind of line it up so you can see the border where you want to start. And then the second one. Some extra glue there. And then the third. Okay, so super simple. But it makes 3 cards at a time, which at this point, since I'm trying to get my Christmas cards completed, that's what I was going for. Hi, Cheryl. Thanks for joining me. So then on my last one, we're going to line these up to get the idea of where we want them to be. I'm always better at getting them on straight if I do them horizontally as opposed to vertically. So this one's going to go right about here. Oh, I feel like it needs to just come down a little bit there. And then the middle one. And then the last one. Okay, so now you've made your own colored paper, customized your designer series paper with your blended color, and you've created 3 card fronts. So you're going to just attach those to your card base. So I'm going to make these pretty much the way that I did the ones that I showed you. So one of them, I need the ribbon to go around the middle. So I'm going to leave that one aside. Let's glue this one on. I'll show you my little tip for getting the ribbon around the whole mat. Oh, that's not straight. Okay. All right, so my ribbon. So this one has the ribbon that goes all the way across the mat. So let me show you how I do that, or what I think is the easiest. We're going to just take our ribbon, and I'm going to get some tape. I just use plain Scotch tape. Figure out how long my ribbon needs to be with a little bit carrying over to the back. And then I just am going to just use regular Scotch tape. I'm going to put this across, flip it over, and tape that down. This is like the cheapest, the cheapest Scotch tape ever. It's terrible, but it'll work. All right, then across. And then again, I'm just going to lay it down and tape it like that. Then I'm going to adhere it to the front of my card. Lost my glue. And this way, then, I just have to tie a bow. I don't have to worry about getting, oh, I have some extra glue, getting that, that ribbon all the way around and tying the bow while I'm trying to hold it. Okay, so what I will do then is get enough for a bow and put it underneath here, and then just tie my bow this way. Well, maybe we want it to be a little bit longer. Want it to be a nice big bow. All right. So there we go. So then I'm just going to cut the end. And what's nice about that technique is then you can move this bow. You can slide it onto that side, put it in the middle, put it on this side. Wherever you want it to go, you can adjust it that way. And then we'll just play with it until we love it. All right, for right now, we're going to leave that. We've got to do some sentiments. So I've got some circles here that I die cut with the Spotlight on Nature dies. And on these cards, I'm going to use Let Your Heart Be Light. So I have to tell you that I really messed up this Christmas, and I did not buy a set with good sentiments. I have 3 Christmas sets that I bought, but they're very specific sentiments to the stamp set. So I didn't buy one that was general. This one I think is from 2 years ago, oh, maybe 3 years ago. It's called The Brightest Glow, and it's just got some really good sentiments. So I had to resort to some retired stuff to get the sentiments that I wanted for these cards. I have to do a better job with that next year. So regretting not that I regretted my purchases. I like the stamp sets that I got, but when I was trying to make cards with just different paper, I didn't feel like I had enough general sentiments. Okay, so we've got Let Your Heart Be Light. Just love the font on this one too. And I'm just stamping this with Memento Black. I just inked up this pad so it's actually working and looks great. There we go. All right, so we're letting our heart be light. And then we will use some dimensionals to get that onto our card here. Okay, so that's this one. And again, if my bow is too close, I can scooch it over even more. And then just get it the way that I like it. And then cut my ends off if I feel like they're too long. Just a little bit. All right, that's very festive. I love this ribbon. This is the gold striped ribbon, which I think is current, and I just love it. And there's a little bit of a wave to it too, which is fun. So there's one. This other one I did with the same type of sentiment in the middle, but I did a bow behind the sentiment. And the way I did that was I put down a glue dot just in the middle. You might need 2. Let's put 2. I think it's easier with 2. Okay. And then you're going to take whatever gold ribbon or trim you have, and you want to just start on one side here, and then kind of glue that to your glue dot, and then bring it around. Make like a bow, looks like a bow. You're not going to tie it, you're just going to loop it. And then I'm going to loop it on the other side. And then get another, you know what, it looped the wrong way. It needs to go this way. Needs to go down a little bit. Okay, like that. Whoops, didn't want to stick. There we go. And then this one will go up. I keep twisting my ribbon. Up like that, and then down this way. So it kind of looks like a big bow. And then your glue dot is holding it for you, so that then you can get your sentiment on there. So I'm going to just use some dimensionals again. When you're doing ribbon and bows, glue dots are your best friend, unless you have someone in your office with you that can put their finger there. All right, then you can hold that all down with your sentiment and then just cut off your ends the way that wherever you want them to be. Yeah, this one's a little long, so let's cut that off. All right, so there's that one. And then this last one, I just tied a little bow and put it on my sentiment. So we're going to just put some dimensionals on here. Get that on our card. And then again, we can grab our trim and tie a little bow. That might be too little. Better to start with a larger piece. There we go. So you can always trim it down. Whoa, my scissors went flying. Okay, I think I put it on the side. I like it on the top. I like it on the side. And again, we're just going to use a little glue dot. Using my fingers. I don't know why. Usually I use my take your pick tool. Being stubborn tonight and using my fingers. All right, and then we just, again, just trim our little ends. And there we go. All right, so we have our 3 cards like that. So those were the ones from tonight with the shaded spruce. But then, as I said, I ended up using Lost Lagoon for the back matte because it wasn't as dark as the shaded spruce paper. So I think I like it with the Lost Lagoon back there. So there's with the green. Here are the ones that I showed you as the sample with the pretty in pink. And then I made a couple other sets. So I also used the, oh, I'm stuck to my card. What is this paper called? Oh, 1 second, let me grab it. Oh my goodness. Stuck to something else. This is Peaceful Garden paper. So this is the, it's got these pieces with like the green and cloud cover and secret sea. I don't know what happened here. What happened? There we go. So it's got these pieces that are kind of grayish blue with the cloud cover. And I decided that I wanted it to be a little bit more blue. You know, once I'm using a paper pack, I can get kind of bored with it if, you know, if I'm using it over and over again. So using your blending brushes and changing the color gives it a whole new feeling and a new life. So I took those pages and I blended them with some Azure Afternoon, a real turquoise color. And then I got this version of this paper. So you can see the difference in the color here when I added some turquoise over the top of it. So that's with the Peaceful Garden paper. And then this last set, I love this last set. I actually was really surprised. So I did this with the Traditions of Christmas. I used this paper, which is really white, real white background. So I used this piece with the poinsettias, and then this plaid, and changed up the background color on that with some, why does it keep doing that? Oh my goodness. Making me crazy. All right, with some crumb cake. So I blended the background here with crumb cake, and you can see the difference. Let me grab a piece for you. So this one is very white. Oh, maybe you can't see the difference. There we go. This is a very white background, and then I made it more, it actually looks kind of antique or vintage with the crumb cake background. And then I did some red ribbon with that. So there you go. So you can, if you get bored with your designer series paper or you want to change up the colors, you just need a blending brush and some ink and go at it. You can make your own custom paper in whatever color you would like. All right. So now let's get out of here. Thanks, Cheryl. All right. Why did I keep wanting to flip back? I don't know. Sometimes technology makes me crazy. Okay. Anyway, that's it for me tonight. You guys have a great weekend. And as I said, if you're sending stuff to people for Christmas, get it in the mail this weekend so that it will get up there on time. Believe it or not, we're only, 3 weeks? Yeah, 3 weeks away, 2 weeks away. It's like 2.5. Oh my goodness, I have so much to do. All right, well, everybody have a wonderful weekend. Stay warm wherever you are. We're all very cold up here in the north right now. So stay warm and stay crafty, my friends. And I'll see you next week. Thank you.